Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you guys are new. Today's video is going to be hopefully a little bit more of a chill style video. It's just going to be a get ready with me. I'm going to chat about a couple of topics, but I'm in a little bit of a funk today, and I'm hoping that just doing my makeup and also filming will kind of help me to feel better. I'm hoping that some of you guys can kind of relate, and maybe, you know, this video can help you. But if I don't seem like super peppy or chipper, that's probably why, but I still really want to sit down and film this video, and hopefully it will lift my spirits. So let's jump into it. I actually am getting ready, so we're gonna go out to dinner with my in-laws, and I just wanted to feel a little bit more put together again, kind of like feel a little bit more like myself. So I always find that actually doing my makeup and taking that time does help me to feel better. So let's just start with the actual makeup look. I really want to prime the face with a good moisturizing primer because my skin is feeling pretty dry today. I haven't done any skincare on it, and it is about 4:30 in the afternoon, so it's just a little dry today. So I picked up this one recently. I'm actually working on a drugstore primer video for you guys. I want to compare several drugstore primers. This one so far I'm liking, but it's like a thick consistency. So it's kind of weird. I don't even think I said what this is. It's the Milani Skin Quench. This is their hydrating primer with hyaluronic acid and coconut water. So this one's kind of unique, I think, from anything in my collection because it looks like it'd be a really kind of creamy moisturizing product, but it is a little bit thicker. So when you rub it into the skin, it feels just a little sticky and tacky almost. But it is really moisturizing. And what I notice is that once I actually rub it into the skin, it really provides a lot of moisture. But I think this one's growing on me even more because once it dries a little bit and sets into the skin, I'm gonna put a little bit more on. My skin is really dry. It has a little bit of a tack to it, so I actually feel like it seems to help with my makeup lasting a little bit longer. So I'm really happy about that, and I'm continuously trying this, so I'm not 100% sure on that claim yet, but I've noticed 2 or 3 times that I've used this that it seems to help my makeup last longer. And I actually wore this on Thursday or Friday on only half of my face, and I wore a different primer on the other half, and the side with this primer wore, I would say, pretty significantly better than the other side. The other side didn't wear badly, but this one just, you could tell it wore better. But it is pretty moisturizing, and I do really like it. So I asked you guys if there's anything you wanted me to use specifically or to talk about, and Leanne asked that I use the Haus Labs foundation. So I actually just picked up a couple samples of this last weekend. So I have 2. I'm gonna put one on either side of the face so you guys can get a color reference. This one is the shade 060 Fair Warm, and I promise it is fair warm. When I put it on the skin and compare it to the neutral shade, you guys are probably gonna be surprised because this is not a warm tone shade in my book, but it's labeled as their warm shade. So I noticed on Sephora's website that the Haus Labs foundations that are marked as warm say that they have a rosy undertone, which I would say is typically compared to a cool undertone, but her foundations say rosy or peachy undertones, I believe, for their warm foundation, which I think is just a little bit backwards than what we're used to hearing. But as long as you pay pretty close attention, you know, to what they're described as, I think you'll be all right. And then the color I'm going to put on this other side of my face, I got that all under my nail, but this nail's broken, so that's why I'm using my thumb. But this is the shade 070 Fair Neutral. And I'm putting this on the skin all together so you guys can really see, and I'll also swatch it on the back of my hand for you. But to me, this one called Neutral is much more yellow tone than the one labeled as warm. So I actually am really glad that I got the samples because I wouldn't have wanted to get, I was hesitant to get the one that said warm. I actually put Fair Warm in my cart just by looking from the pictures of their models. So this shade right here is 060 Fair Warm, and this is 070 Fair Neutral, both the Haus Labs foundation formula. So I think you guys can probably tell, but I noticed when I wore them side by side that they actually blend to be okay. If I had accidentally gotten this one, I think it would have been fine, but I did go ahead and get the samples just to kind of try them out. I actually think I'm going to blend this out with my brush first, but Leanne is a big reason why I went and got these samples, because hers looked so pretty on her skin and it wore really well throughout the day. So I will link her Instagram below if you guys want to go check out her page. I highly suggest her. She's super sweet and I love her content. She always posts her looks, like she'll post daily looks sometimes, and I really love those. But she also will kind of post about her family and everything and her stories, and I just really, really like Leanne and her content, of course. So here's the two of those kind of blended out. I'll put my sponge over them, but I just want like a light layer of makeup today. Not really feeling like it, so I'm just gonna leave it at this sort of a coverage, but I did just really want to note those color differences. I got this mirror from Dollar Tree, and this has really changed my filming game. I feel like it really helps me to actually see my makeup in a larger area, because used to I would just use a mirror from a palette or a compact, but this seems to really help a lot, and I'm really liking it. I actually think it's pretty cute. It's just like a nice little lavender mirror. It's got makeup on it, but I really like it. So on the topic of Leanne, she was actually the only one that commented about what she wanted to see in today's video, which is fine. I never expect you guys to do that. I'm just like, well, if there's anything you wanted to see, you know, now's the chance. I'm telling you that I'm filming. But I do really appreciate Leanne's suggestion there. This is a really nice foundation. So let me show you close up. But Leanne asked me about my new job. I shared with you guys last summer that I started a new job, and I don't know if I shared this update or not. So I actually got a promotion that started at the beginning of this year in 2023. So I feel really fortunate for that. I had only been there for about 6 months beforehand. So that was a really big accomplishment for me. And I really do love that job. There's a lot of responsibility with it. So I'm definitely still like learning everything and getting used to it. But I really do like it there. And I feel very fulfilled in my work now. Which is what I was kind of lacking beforehand. So I don't really like to share a lot about my work life, just for safety reasons online. I hope that you guys understand, but I really do appreciate you asking, Leanne, and that's kind of the update there. So I really am enjoying it. But there is a topic that I wanted to talk about in today's video. So the next product I'm going to use is the Fit Me Concealer from Maybelline. And if you guys know, Maybelline is not considered cruelty-free by Cruelty-Free Kitty or Leaping Bunny or any of those sites. I have decided to not really consider myself a cruelty-free consumer anymore with that label, because there's been a lot going on, but this is something I had been thinking about for a while. And actually, I think right before I started my channel back up, like 2 or 3 years ago now, I had actually decided this, and then I kind of decided when I started posting videos again to kind of go back to a cruelty-free status. And I don't want to say that like I'm promoting testing on animals, and I'm also not a professional on this topic, so I briefly want to talk about why I made this decision for myself. And I also don't want to hide the fact that I made the decision, because I will be featuring some different brands and videos moving forward that are not on those lists. So from what I can tell, there's so much gray area in that topic. There's not the best information, I don't think, for our research purposes. And I find that to be pretty disappointing, but ultimately I don't think that that relies on the consumer to figure out. I'm not kidding when I say that I have spent so many hours researching the cruelty-free topic. And, you know, it sounds really great. It sounds like, yeah, I don't want them to test on animals, you know, so it sounds easy and it sounds simple, but that's really not how I think it actually is. I'm also going to leave below Sarah Rose's video in the description box. She also decided to shed that label. I think she's still going to kind of consider it with her purchases, but she's just also going to consider other things. And I really respect the video that she made. I think she was so well spoken. Sarah has this way of explaining things and also just like sharing her opinion in a way that just makes sense and is so respectful. And I really love Sarah's content and I love her videos. She seems like such a nice person. We talk sometimes, but I really like Sarah, and I'm gonna leave her video because I felt like she just verbalized it so much better than I can, especially with her knowledge. She used to work for a nonprofit, and so I felt like that was a really unique perspective. But kind of a summary of where I'm at with it is that I feel like animal testing is not as prominent as it used to be, and it's also not the only issue that is happening in the makeup community. So for me personally, I think it's more important that I keep myself a curated collection and hold myself accountable to not over consuming makeup. I do have more than the average person would need for makeup. However, this is like my hobby. This is my passion. This is really like the one area of my life where I have, I would say, a collection. So that's just something that, you know, I enjoy collecting and spending money on, but it's not something that I want to overconsume. So I think ultimately for me, it's more important to keep a conscious collection. And, you know, if I'm looking at two products and one is from a cruelty-free brand, you know, the quotations there, because cruelty-free only means not tested on animals or believed to not be tested on animals, then I just think that there's other things that are important. But anyways, if I'm looking at two products and one of them is from a thought to be cruelty-free brand, doesn't test on animals, and one is not, and they seem pretty equal to me, I feel like I will probably lean towards the cruelty-free option. However, number one, I don't think animal testing is as prominent as it used to be. I don't feel like, this is just my opinion, I don't feel like they're testing everyday products on animals because they have some of the same ingredients. I think we're running into that is ingredients that are maybe more skincare related. This is just what I'm picking up, and it's very fuzzy because the research is just really not there. But for me, the bottom line there is just that not only do I want to keep a conscious and small and curated collection, but I also want to kind of pay more attention to how brands make me feel and how brands make others feel. So if there's a brand that is notoriously not including a good shade range, or if they're kind of shady themselves, or if they're, you know, just not uplifting to people or women or anything like that, that's something that I really want to take to heart, and I don't want to purchase from those brands. Even if a brand that's on this cruelty-free list is doing those things, you know, just because they're cruelty-free and don't test on animals, that's great, but there's just other things as well. So I've just decided to kind of take a step back from that. I don't really have that listed anywhere on my channel, but it's just something that I had chosen to follow. Okay, in the meantime, I'm going to add cream bronzer. This is the Fenty cream bronzer. I'm deciding if I want to keep this or not. I've had it for a really long time. But yeah, I just wanted to mention that because you guys are probably going to start to notice a few products that aren't considered cruelty-free. And I actually went out and purchased about $20 worth of products from brands that I used to not purchase from, because after I made the decision, I had kind of been like teetering on the decision, and then Sarah's video came out, and then the whole debacle between is Physicians Formula and Wet n Wild and those brands that I was mentioning from Cruelty-Free Kitty's status. The drama and the controversy between a Cruelty-Free Kitty and Leaping Bunny, just like the differences of like their opinions on what's considered cruelty-free. I just don't like that. And so once that kind of happened, and then I saw Sarah's video, I thought that kind of solidified how I was feeling about the topic. And I just decided to make this decision for myself. And so I went out and I bought about $20 worth of products from brands that I used to not purchase from, to just see like how I sat with that and like how I felt about consuming those products. And I honestly feel a lot less stressed. And you know what, like at the end of the day, it is just makeup, and I do want to be the best person that I can and support the best brands that I can, but I just don't feel like this is a path I can continue to follow because there's not enough research there, and I truly believe in my heart that it's not as widely spread and happening as people are saying. And I'm calling myself out on this too. You know, I've mentioned like the general gist of like being cruelty-free, and a lot of brands aren't considered cruelty-free because they sell in mainland China, and that just like has always felt weird to me, and I've always battled like how to feel about it, because I want to respect other countries and cultures and like what they're doing, and it stinks that that's something that's still happening in some countries, but I don't think it's just China, and I don't think it's fair for this community, and not everyone, I'm just saying, like, I just don't think it's fair to just kind of put that solely on them, because that's just not true. And it's just something that I feel like isn't really a fair kind of takeaway or point there. That's kind of everything I think I want to say on this topic right now. I don't know. I've been feeling a little odd about it, but I did want to share that in today's video. And as I mentioned that, I'm not trying to flip you guys off, but I mentioned that I felt a lot less stressed after making that decision. And that's kind of like I mentioned in this beginning of the video, I've been in a little bit of a funk, and a lot of that is stress related. So there's just a lot going on right now. Some stuff I don't really want to talk about. I don't want to talk about online especially, but in general. But also, I did want to fill you guys in. I feel like I can talk about it a little bit now. I was so upset that I could not talk about it. But Henry, my dog, he's okay right now, but we had a little bit of a health scare with him, and it definitely took a toll on me. I was just like not functioning very well for a few days. So he had it's kind of a long story, but I guess I'll talk about it while I continue to do my makeup. But I just really wanted to like fill you guys in today and talk about some things that I haven't mentioned to you guys lately. But I do like to fill you in every now and again. So, oh, I love this blush. This one's from Undone. It's in the shade Flare. I was just thinking I hadn't used it in a while. I really, really like this blush. So anyways, he had a little bit of a health scare. If you guys don't know, Henry is my greyhound. I love him so much. He's like my little baby. I've had him for almost 6 years now, and he's 9. So, you know, I've had him for a while, but I love that dog so much. He's the biggest part of my life. Like, I love him. So he had a swollen knot on his neck, and it ended up being a swollen lymph node, and things kind of progressed in a very weird way. And you guys, please don't leave like horror stories in the comments. I cannot take that right now. Like, please do not. If your dog had this happen, like, I don't know that I can handle like hearing like what it ended up being, because it might be different for Henry, and I'm not in that kind of a place right now. I'm just kind of filling you guys in. Maybe you can send some well wishes, but please don't leave anything like triggering or negative in the comments today. So he had some just like weird progressions, and they had taken a sample of it. And then we ended up testing it to make sure that it wasn't cancerous, because that was the main concern with the lump. And it was a concern because we had gotten him an antibiotic to reduce the swelling of the lymph node. And it wasn't really working as effectively and as quickly as we'd hoped. So we had it tested for cancer. Our vet tested it first, but then once it didn't go down, they sent the test off. They took another sample and sent it off to a pathologist that is more of a specialist in testing these samples. So we were waiting for the sample to come back, and I was just so worried. It was just a really long few days. I didn't really sleep for like 3 days, and it was just really tough, but it came back as not cancer. And you guys, when the person from the vet's office called me and told me that, it was like I could breathe again. But we're still actually going to take him to go see a specialist so that they can just kind of see what's going on, because even though it's not cancer, we just don't really know what it is. I'm using this loose powder now from Maybelline. I just used the number 7 press powder. But we still don't know exactly what's going on. The lymph node is totally back to normal now, but we just would rather be safe than sorry. So, yeah, we're going to take him to see a specialist. We take him on Tuesday. When I'm filming this, today is Saturday, so not too far away. We were on a little bit of a wait from the first appointment we could get, but he seems to be doing better now. So I feel a lot better about it, but it was a very stressful time. And I still don't feel 100% about it because we don't know exactly what's going on, which is why I'm asking, like, don't leave this stuff in the comments, please. But he seems to be doing better now, thank goodness, because, oh, I was a wreck. So I've just kind of had a lot going on, and my stress levels have been challenging to deal with. So yeah, I don't know. I'm feeling a little weird today, but I already do feel better. Just like talking with you guys and doing my makeup, it just feels great. So I'm glad to be here. So for eyeshadow, I wanted to use this Harvest palette from Profusion, but I don't really want to use like a ton of eyeshadow. I want to just put, I think, a couple crease shades down maybe, and then add in this Ulta single shadow. So I'm actually kind of running out of time too, so I need to wrap up the look. I think that's everything that I made a note to talk to you guys about today, because I really have been wanting to talk to you guys about Henry. There was a time where Henry's had a lot of health scares. He is just our little medical baby. He actually, I don't know, I think I might have told you guys this before, but years ago he had skin cancer. And so there was just a real concern about that test coming back, but oh, there was glitter in that brush. Whoops. But a while back he was sick, and I shared with you guys on Instagram, and you guys were so nice. But this was kind of like a different level, and I couldn't even talk about it. Like, I was so stressed, just trying not to break down all the time. So now that he's feeling better and the test came back that it's not cancer, I feel like I can kind of talk about it a little bit. So I just wanted to fill you in, because I don't know, every now and then there's certain things I do like to talk to you guys about that aren't makeup, but I don't want them to be a focus on my channel, because I really, you know, this actually changed during the pandemic. When it first started, you know, that was obviously a really stressful time for everyone. And I wanted to turn YouTube on as an escape and as just like something to listen to that wasn't the news and wasn't everything that was going on, because we were so unsure with everything. And I felt like every creator was talking about it, and I'm like, why are you all talking about it? Like, everyone would talk about it and then say, but I want my channel to be an escape. I'm like, well, then stop talking about it. I don't know. That was just, I noticed that. And so I don't really like to talk about negative things on my makeup channel, just because I don't want it to be stressful for you guys. Like, makeup is my happy place and my escape, and I'm assuming it's probably similar for you guys. So that's kind of where I'm coming from with that. But every now and then I do like to update you all, because you're so supportive, and I do share a lot with you guys, I feel like, especially on Instagram. I keep reaching back for brushes, but you know, I do share a lot with you guys, and you guys also share with me sometimes. And you know, I don't want to just pretend like everything is fine. And I feel like you can probably tell that my energy is a little bit different today. So yeah, I just wanted to fill you in. But I do feel better, and I swear, every time I do my makeup, it really does wonders. It does make me feel better. It's just like the process of putting it on. It's therapeutic. And I've been wanting to film this video all day today. And like I said, it's after 4:30 now. So it took me this long to actually do it. You guys will have to let me know in the comments how you're doing lately. Are you kind of in the same boat as me with a little bit of a funk going on? Or are you doing great? Are you thriving? Let me know. Either way, I'd love to know. But I'm going to go ahead and use some of this. Oh, I have the shade Buttercream. I thought I had Italian Ice. Anyways, I'm going to go ahead and use some of this Ulta single shadow. I think I told someone yesterday that I had the Italian Ice shade. Whoops. I do not have the shade Buttercream. I think I wanted a little bit more pigment than that, so let me see. I might actually just pick up the shade Communal from the palette, and then I'll top it with the Ulta shade, but that one's just, it doesn't really have much of a base, which I like, but I wanted a little bit more pigment, I guess, on the lid. I'm not using a glitter glue or eyeshadow primer or anything. I just really wanted like a super simple look. This would probably take me like 10 minutes if I wasn't filming and talking and everything, but I think that's everything I wanted to like make sure that I talked about. I wanted to show you the foundation and update you on the job since Leanne had asked, and then I wanted to talk to you about kind of a cruelty-free update, and then also what's a little bit of what's been going on. All right, for the eyebrows, I'm just going to use the e.l.f. Wow Brow. I typically use the NYX brown marker in the front part of my brows because I feel like they start a little bit far away, but I don't feel like doing that. And for a more natural look, I'm just gonna go with the brows I was given. So we'll just amp them up a little bit, but I don't wanna add on to them too much. Yeah, I think that looks better. And then let's see. For mascara, I actually opened up this little mini recently of the Wander Beauty Unlashed Volume and Curl Mascara. I like this one. I've noticed my eyes have been kind of sensitive to mascaras lately, so I'm gonna see today if my eyes feel irritated after I put this on because I've been kind of thinking I might need to like toss all of my mascaras and open up a couple new ones. They're almost all gone anyways. This was the only like newer one. But my eyes have been a little bit sensitive lately. This is a really nice mascara. I don't think I would purchase it. I got this as a point perk from Sephora, I believe. I don't think this is sold at Ulta. So I definitely got this at Sephora with points because I know I didn't buy it. But I do really like this mascara. I don't know. It doesn't blow me away, but I mean, here's how it looks. I think it's really pretty. I like the wand too. It helps like really fit in the lashes, and I feel like it can coat a lot more at once. So I don't know. I think it's good. If you can get it with the point perk, I would pick it up. Do you guys have a favorite brown mascara? Because I really want to pick one up. I know that the Tarte Maneater recently came out in a brown option, which I thought about picking up, but I wish they had it in the mini. I do like that mascara, but for a brown mascara, I either want it to be drugstore or a mini because I don't use it as often as a black mascara. But if it can be built up, I might use it. I don't like a natural looking lash, really. I like a really bold lash. Okay, last up is gonna be lip gloss. I feel like I probably could use some more bronzer because I look pretty pale, but I just don't feel like it. I'm just gonna stick with what I've got already. This is a gloss from Buxom, and I really like these. I think this is the shade Dolly. I picked up little 4 mini set. Yeah, this one's in the shade Dolly. I like all of the shades though. I think I will add some bronzer. And then that's gonna be it, but I'm kind of considering getting rid of that Fenty one. I think I mentioned that a little bit when I was putting it on, but I've had it for a long time and I don't reach for it. And so when I compare it to my other cream bronzers, I feel like anytime I reach for the Fenty one, it's kind of like I'm wasting a use I could use on another one that I love. This is the first cream bronzer product I think I ever had. So at the time I loved it. I mean, I've got a pretty massive pan in it, but I've just found better bronzers that are cream for me that I don't really love this one. So I don't know, I'm kind of thinking it's probably time to move on from it because it's kind of old and it's a cream product. I don't feel that way about everything, especially powder products, but especially since it's a cream one. But the bronzer I just put on is the Milani Silky Matte in 01 Sunlight. All right, so that's gonna be it for this like super simple get ready with me. I just wanted to kind of talk with you guys a little bit more like casually. I didn't fix my hair or anything. I literally just got out of the shower before filming, so hopefully you guys don't mind too much, but I'm sure you don't or you wouldn't have watched. So thank you for watching if you did. If you don't mind, please keep my little baby dog in your thoughts and prayers. Send some love for him because I'm really hopeful we get some good news on Tuesday. But yeah, just wanted to update you guys. So yeah, hopefully you guys aren't too disappointed about the cruelty-free status thing. I did kind of like talk to you guys about what your purchasing habits are. And this for me, I think is just going to be best. So if that's not your cup of tea and you decide to unsubscribe, I totally get it. I hope you don't, but I get it. You know, I've definitely been there too. So I hope that you guys understand. And anyways, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.